Hello, welcome. How are you guys? It's the Army List Review Show, number 40. Believe it or not, we're here. We've done it. We've crossed the border from 30 to 40. We're safe and sound. About to review some Tyranid Army lists. My name's Jordan here at Wednesday Night Warhammer. I really like Tyranids, and I really like talking about Tyranids. Well, we got like a cool Merum Tyrant or something in the Discord. Sheesh. Let me pull this up. Let me see if I can look at this. Ozlith is painting up something spicy, something cool. Let's take a look. Where is it? Painted plastic, maybe? Oh, that is spicy. That is good. Nice. Awesome. Very cool. Love seeing that kind of stuff. All right, welcome. Come on in. You know, I guess you're already here. We're going to do an Army List Review show. We've only got 6 lists. After these 6 lists, I'm going to make a spicy Synaptic Nexus Battle Shock Matters list with you guys. And just see what we can do with it. I'm thinking some Screamer Killers. I'm thinking some Neurolictors, some Hormagaunts, maybe some Raveners. And I will be playing it tomorrow against my buddy Mike, and he's playing Thousand Sun. Should be a good game. It should be a fun time. Let's get rolling with it. I hope everybody's having a great day. Whoop. Okay. First up on our list, we've got Jacob 34. He says, list reviews the best time of the week. I wanted to see if there was a fun list with all the tyrants there to be all scary over the battlefield. Nice. So we are in Invasion Fleet. We have a Death Leaper, Swarm Lord, Hive Tyrant, and Winged Hive Tyrant. Okay, so he's all types of tyrants. That seems cool. Hormagaunts, Termagaunts, Biovore, Lictor, Von Ryans, Excrin, T-Fex, and T-Fex with Rupture Cannon. Okay, I mean, yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's pretty spicy. I think you probably want to. I think you probably want to cut the Termagaunts and probably Death Leaper for like one more punching piece. What would it be if we got? We also famously do not have a Neuro Tyrant, which I think is actually kind of important in Invasion Fleet. I also think you probably... Whoa, William! Oh, awesome. Thank you, William. I really appreciate the support, man. Thank you so much. You're on iOS. Oh, you can't member because you're on iOS. Is that a thing? Interesting. Nice. Okay, cool. I didn't realize that was a thing. I'm on iPhone too. Well, obviously not now, but I didn't realize that's a thing. Oh, maybe that's why I've had such a hard time. Like, there was a time where I couldn't even be a member of our own channel, especially on mobile. But thank you. We really appreciate the support, man. Okay, so I would probably just put this enhancement in Jacob on the Hive Tyrant, you know, right? Instead of the Winged Hive Tyrant. And I think I don't personally really like Termagaunts. I think that they're very, very lacking this edition. So if we get Termagaunts out and we get the Death Leaper out, we're going to have 140 points. Now, I do really like Death Leaper. I think Death Leaper is quite strong. I think he is good, you know. He's got good abilities. However, if you're already on triple Lictor in Invasion Fleet, I think that's pretty high on the number of Lictors. So, you know, not sure. Another thing that I'm thinking about is like maybe the Von Ryans, but what are we going to do with 140 points? It would be cool to do like Neurotyrant and then Zoanthropes. That could be sweet. I also famously really, really like Gene Stealers. You might know, I do love Gene Stealers. Like, would we be able to cut both Lictor and Von Ryans to get more? That'd be 270 points. And then we could do, like, Gene Stealers and a Pyrovore. But then are we missing out on too many screening? Triple Tyrant is a... I guess, what do we want to build around? I find the lack of Gene Stealers sad as well. I think we do that. Oh, no. Here's what we do. Here's what we do, chat. Boom. I figured it out. I've done it. Get rid of those. That's going to give us 130 more points. So we're at 270. I've solved it. Ready? 200 and... Oh, it's actually 220 points now because of the balanced data slate that is out, but also totally not out in the same time, you know. We're going to put a Broodlord in, and then Gene Stealers go in. Gene Stealers times 10. That's going to get us 220 points. And then with the last 50 points, we're going to spend 20 points on both of these to upgrade them to Gargoyles. Bish, bosh. I think that's it. Now, if you're wanting to play every single kind of Hive Tyrant, you are immediately limited on your choices, right? There's just going to be only so many points. 70 points now too. Yeah. So I mean, maybe we would have 10 points left over. So there's an argument that maybe you swap one of the Lictors for a Neurolictor. Although I don't know, I just feel like Lictors with fights first, you know, and damage too. I'm probably preferring Lictors most of the time over Neurolictors, but who knows? Cool stuff. I like this. It's going to be Broodlord, Swarmlord, Hive Tyrant, Winged Hive Tyrant, Gargoyles, Biovore, Lictor, triple Exocrine, Gene Stealers, Tyrannifex, and a Tyrannifex. The Hive Tyrant? I don't think the Hive Tyrant can join the Gargoyles, but I think you're thinking of a Winged Prime. But most of the time I don't join the Winged Prime with Gargoyles just because I don't want my Winged Prime to get killed so easily, right? Cruising along. We've got Merum. Merum says, I put together a list for Vanguard Onslaught, but I'm a beginner with only 5 games, so any advice is welcome. Now, folks, if you haven't seen it yet on the other Tyranid channel, Hive Mind Hobbies, I just dropped a detachment deep dive on Vanguard Onslaught. The detachment has changed quite a bit because of the new Raveners, so I took some time, and after a bunch of games that I played with Vanguard Onslaught, I re-put out there my thoughts, and I think it's pretty good detachment, and check out that video if you haven't already. But let's see what this guy's got. We've got Death Leaper, Swarmlord, Broodlord with Chameleonic. Broodlord with Chameleonic is interesting. One regular Broodlord, hyper-adapted Raveners, and then with a Neuronode on the or hyper-adapted, rather, excuse me. So if you're playing Vanguard and you have... Oh, the Swarmlord kind of has to be your Warlord, right? For his, like, Vect thing. Okay, never mind. Moving on, we have 2 squads of Gargoyles. We have a Biovore. 10 Gene Stealers. That's interesting that they were broken up with like, oh, excuse me, 2 5s like that. And then 10 more Gene Stealers, so 20 Gene Stealers. So that makes sense because we have 2 Broodlords, of course. We have 1 Lictor, 2 Von Ryans, double Exocrine, 1 Trigon, and 1 Tyranifex. Very interesting. So no Raveners. Thinking we're going to want some Raveners for sure. Yeah, okay. So I think the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put some Raveners in. And I think, like, the Swarmlord is actually pretty spicy. I don't mind the Swarmlord and Vanguard Onslaught. I think he's a little bit expensive for the way that I like to play Vanguard Onslaught. But I definitely actually don't think he's a bad choice, right? I do think you, like, Vanguard Onslaught, in my opinion, you automatically start with triple Lictors, right? I think that that is definitely where you want to be. And I'll be honest with you, I also don't think that the Tyranifex is really where we want to be at all. I think it's 200 points and it has 2 shots. I think Vanguard Onslaught is more about some forward melee pressure and jailing your opponent. And I don't think the Tyranifex super supports that kind of playstyle. So we are going to take out the Tyranifex first. So that'll be 200 points. And we're immediately going to use 120 of those points to put in 2 more Lictors. I think triple Lictor is the mainstay of the army for sure. And then you kind of build from there. I'm okay with 20 Gene Stealers, but if we only have 20 Gene Stealers, that means we can't be very reckless with them. And I'll be honest with you, I like to be reckless with my Gene Stealers. So that means we're going to have something to back up the Gene Stealers and allow them to do cool stuff, right? I think the Trigon is kind of cute. I would be interested to see how it's been working for Merum's games. But in my opinion, I think our 100% our main priority is getting a Ravener squad to go alongside these hyper-adapted Raveners. So I'm going to trade out this big snake for 5 smaller snakes. All right. So this is going to go to 220 points. And then I'm going to use 125 of those points, which I believe brings us to 95 points to put in Raveners. Boop. Raveners. What's the goal? Oh, William, we didn't have too much of a goal today. If you want, I can set up we can do that. So you already gifted 1. Let's do we'll count that as 2. And then I'll do I will do 3. And I'll do, I'm a little limited on time today, but I'll do 3 more army list reviews. And we can also do the thing where if you submit an army list review during the, oh, I got to change that goal. Let me see. Dang it. Yeah, because I didn't want it to be $5. Oh, I got to remove the goal. Dang it, everything's scuffed. Okay, I will manually count. If we get if we get 10 $2 super chats, your membership definitely counts for 2 there. Then I will review 3 more lists, and you can of course submit lists during the whoa. It is in painted plastic. Yes, Ozlith. I think I saw that. I think that's the one that I was talking about. Oh, is it Neurothrope? You mean Neurotyrant? Anyways, back on track. So we've got 95 points. And we've got Raveners, which are 125 points. Okay, so I guess that means just 6 more super chats. Man, really going quick. 125 points there. Let's see, we've got 95 points. I think I like maybe 1 squad of Von Ryans, but I think 2 squads of Von Ryans is maybe not where we want to be. So if we just cut one squad of Von Ryans, I think we want more melee punch. 70 plus 95 is 165, right? Yes. And then at this point, I think actually something that would round out the list pretty good with 165. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it, Matt. Whoa, William. Holy shit. All right. Hey, William, go ahead and submit a list on our channel on Wednesday Night Warhammer, and I'll absolutely be reviewing your list first when I grab new lists. All right. It's pretty incredible of you. Thank you so much for the support, man. If anybody is a member, go ahead, submit a list on our post on the channel, and I'm going to be reviewing 3 lists after my original cube. Thank you so much for the support, man. You guys are incredible. Okay, so 165 points left over. I think we do like the Gene Stealer hunting pack, right? And we just put another Broodlord in. Aw, man, I appreciate the support, dude. That's very kind of you. We put another Broodlord in, and then we put Gene Stealers in. Just a 5-man Gene Stealer squad, which this 5-man Gene Stealer squad is actually quite good. In my opinion, they definitely punch above their point cost, and the Broodlord just like shreds stuff out of nowhere. We will have 15 points left over. Let's see if there's anything spicy we can do. Another thing, like I am currently not running gargoyles. However, with like double exocrine, there's a pretty good chance that you do want some screens that are not just Gene Stealers, right? So maybe double gargoyles is not terrible. 15 points. We have quite a bit of points tied up in enhancements. So like 20, 35, and then 50. That would be 60 points. What could we get for 60 points? I mean, I think Neuronode and Chameleonic are pretty good. Maybe we drop Chameleonic. Yeah. I don't think Chameleonic is great. Ooh, let's do something cool. So we'll drop Chameleonic, right? It's going to give us 15 more points. So that'll be 30 points. And here's the spice everybody's been wanting to try, right? I think we also drop a Gargoyle squad. Yes, I'm feeling okay. No, I am not sick. I'm all right with Gargoyles being gone. And then here's what we try, right? 85 plus 30 equals 115. I think let's throw a Psychophage in. What do we think? I think a Psychophage would be sweet. Psychophage. Because the Psychophage is just going to be annoying for your opponent to deal with. And it is also going to help all of your melee punch just activating a little bit harder. Like, Von Ryan's Leapers, my biggest problem with them is only having AP 1. So if a Psychophage comes out, bzz, it just flames something, and then all of a sudden, AP 2 might be way better in combat. So this is a fun list. Let's go over it again. There's a couple of things that I think are not extremely optimal. Like, you could change it up a little bit in order to make it just a little bit more competitive, but I think this list is pretty good where it's at. Death Leaper, Swarmlord, Triple Broodlord. 2 of them are going to be with 10-man Gene Stealers, and 1 of them is going to be with a 5-man. We have 1 squad of Hyper Adaptives with the Neuronode. Make sure they are... Is Neuronode asking for on the table or not? I forget. No, it's probably just if you have the enhancement at all. 1 squad of Gargoyles, 1 Biovore, a 5-man Gene Stealer squad just to scout out and just be annoying. Then 2 10-man Gene Stealers, Triple Lictor, 1 Von Ryan Leaper, a Psychophage to buff all of your melee stuff, 2 Exocrines to clear screens and make your charges a little bit more doable, and then Raveners to attach or not to be attached to your Hyper-Adapted Raveners. Very cool. Ooh. I'm drinking Gatorade, and my Gatorade powder did not mix. So I just got like a clump of disgusting. Nice. Moving right along. We've got Daniel Peterson next. He says, hey guys, check out my Subterranean Assault list. Current 2 tourneys undefeated. Placed first and third, both one-dayers. Okay, so like an RTT. Awesome. Any extra opinions and ideas to expand would be great. Thank you in advance. Well, Daniel Peterson, if you have gone to 2 tournaments and you are undefeated, seems like you've cracked the code, dude. You know? But let's take a look. I'll give you my ideas, but obviously whatever you're doing is working extremely well for you. Congratulations on your success. And I think that's awesome that Tyranids are doing well in a meta that might be a little bit tough right now. So Subterranean Assault, like he said. Death Leaper, Hyper Adapted, Swarm Lord, Trigon, 1 Gargoyle Squad, 1 Hormigaunt Squad. I'll be honest, this is actually kind of what I landed on as well when I was trying to figure out what the chaff, like the little gribbly units were going to be. I actually quite liked 1 Gargoyle Squad, 1 Hormigaunt Squad. I feel like that was a pretty good balance. Then we have Biovore, 1 Exocrine, double Lictor, a Norn Emissary, 1 Ravener Squad, 2 Ravener Squads, excuse me, and then double Tyrannifex. Sweet. So part of my list, I had like 1 Tyrannifex and then 1 Hiveguard Squad. I think there's a chance that Hiveguard actually might go back to guarding your shelf per se, because Knights have been hit so hard. But there's also a good chance that you still just want Hiveguard. So I don't know. If your double Tyrannifex has been working pretty well with you, I would stick with it. You know, I feel like some people live and die by the 2-shot Rupture Cannon. It's either very, very good or you hate it, right? So that's pretty good. That's awesome. I think Norn Emissary is a very, very good unit in Subterranean Assault. I'd be interested to see your comments on how it's been. It is extremely maneuverable. It reroll 1s, works on all of its weapons, and I really like that it activates in both phases. Like it punches, it's a meleeer, and it shoots. It's very good. I would say the interesting choice is like the Exocrine here. And I would guess that this Exocrine right here is to help clear screens, and help, you know, just put some ranged pressure that you probably don't care too much about. Like I could see this Exocrine being in strat reserves from turn 1, or being like a really good tunnel teleportation threat, and then just popping out and getting an angle and maybe clearing your screen or something and allowing for your Norn or your Trigon Prime to get in. I would say that I probably would want 1 more melee pressure unit. Like if this Exocrine became a Haruspex, or probably a Haruspex, then that would be pretty good, right? But your list is checking all the boxes for me. You know, I would also think that maybe this Death Leaper is a little bit extra, but I do think that there is a lot of value in Subterranean Assault with having some type of forward pressure units that you can just push at your opponent and say, don't come close to me, so that I can create tunnels and then come close to you. And I think the Death Leaper might be a good unit to do that, because he just runs forward and he's actually kind of annoyingly durable. But he's one of those units that is differs a lot depending on how you want to play him. But really good list. Those are my only thoughts. I would think that maybe a little bit more, one to 2 more units to pressure and have like a really give your opponent a really bad time with them coming out, you know. But I think it's great, you know. And I guess you do have that pressure with like Swarm Lord getting a 6-inch charge on something seems really good. Trigon also, and then of course even the Hyper Adaptives by themselves can hit pretty hard. Good stuff, man. Congrats on your wins, and I appreciate you submitting your list for us to like take a look at. Let's look at it one more time. Death Leaper, Hyper Adapted, Swarm Lord, Trigon Prime, Gargoyles, Hormigaunt, Biovore, 1 Exocrine, Lictor, the beautiful Norn Emissary, Raveners, and then wrapping up with double Tyranid Rupture Cannon. Cool stuff, man. What detachment do you feel benefited the most from the point changes? I'm assuming Invasion Fleet and maybe Vanguard. It is, I think it's like hands down Vanguard. It's like Vanguard was almost the only thing that got buffed, right? It was just like Gene Stealers and Neurolictor, Tervagon and Moloch. But I feel like the only units that are really being played or I'm excited to play out of all of that is like the Neurolictor and the Gene Stealers. So I don't know. It seemed like a weird data slate for us, right? It seems just like maybe Games Workshop was like, oh no, we forgot about the Tyranids. We got to figure something out to to include their points totals. And they were like, let's just nudge down Gene Stealers and Neurolictors. I'm sure they'll be like, thanks, Games Workshop, which I guess, right? Speaking of vanking, I want to shout out to my friends at Secondhand Geek. It is the moment in the show where we come and we look at all the cool stuff that Secondhand Geek has for sale. Somebody took apart a Lehman Russ. And it looks like dozer blades. For $5 for bits like that, that's actually pretty cool. If you're not familiar with Secondhand Geek, they're really good, like secondhand seller of all Warhammer kind of stuff, and they just do a pretty good job of supporting the local community as well as some really fair priced prices. Like for instance, a Tyranid Prime for $18 is amazing. I ordered Neurogons actually from our like sponsor rep. And he was like, are you okay, Jordan? Why are you buying Neurogons? Look, you could buy 10 built Neurogons. Dang it. If I had seen that he had these 10 built Neurogons out for sale, I actually would have bought these. $15 for Neurogons. I've been playing Neurogons in Vanguard Onslaught to screen out my other corner of my field. So if you're interested in that, Secondhand Geek has got you covered. Click the affiliate link down below. It'll be a good time, man. Yeah, producer JJ just sold some Soul Drinker speeders on there. So if you were really excited about picking up some Soul Drinker speeders, because I know that's what the market is, too late. I'm sorry. You should have jumped on it earlier, guys. All right. I'm assuming they took into consider how good the Raveners are now. I don't know. I think, you mean like balancing, like since Raveners are so good, let's give Gene Stealers some help so that they even out? Maybe. I have no idea. Thanks to your GW providers for that generosity. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a good point, but I would be, I'm fine with sometimes the data slate isn't super geared towards us. That's fine. I would just be interested to hear what their like reasoning, and I'm not really super upset about the data slate, but I would just be interested to see what the reasoning was with the Tyranid points changes, because it just kind of seems random, right? Like it just seems a little random. Like, did 10-man Gene Stealer squads need help at all? No. I could see the Neurolictor going down. The Tervagon going down just doesn't even really address why it's bad. But who knows? All right. It is a Neurothrope and not a Neurotyrant. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. Absolutely. We've got 40K_Christian. Before we're moving on, I will be doing 3 to 5 lists after this, because we did reach a super chat goal. If you want your list reviewed right now, now would be a great time to become a member, and then you can go over to our channel and submit your list in the post section. I'll take a look at it. 40K_Christian. He says, hey, I've been in the hobby for a couple of months. I managed to pick up a couple of models in addition to half of Leviathan, minus the Neurotyrant. Man, that's like what... The Neurotyrant is like one of the best pieces in that box. And half the Ultimate Starter set. And this is the list I plan to take to an RTT on September 13th. Dang it, I'm sorry, I missed it. You have provided so much information about this game to me. Truly, thank you for all the things you share. Anyways, here is the list. Thank you, man. Okay, cool. So we're Invasion Fleet, 2,000 points. We got Death Leaper, Winged Hive Tyrant with Adaptive Biology, Heavy Venom Cannon. I will be honest with you. Please change this to the Bone Sword and Lash Whip. I really don't think the Heavy Venom Cannon is worth it, and the Bone Sword Lash Whip is actually a very good item. Winged Tyranid Prime with Synaptic Linchpin. Yeah, here's another one that I think Synaptic Linchpin is, what, 20 points? I think we delete Synaptic Linchpin. I think I understand why, because you don't have the Neurotyrant, so maybe you want your Synapse to be squeaky clean, you know? But I'm not sure the Synaptic Linchpin helps too much with that. We've got 10 Gargoyles, 20 Termagants, 10 Barbgons, very interesting, 22 Neurogons. I wonder if he got his from Secondhand Geek too. Probably not. I think he literally just said he got them from the starter box. We've got a Neurolictor, 2 3-man Von Ryans, double Exocrine, Norn Emissary, Psychophage, Screamer Killer to round out the list. All right, cool. So you do have some pretty good starts, okay? And I think you said, been in the hobby for a couple months. Hey, man, for a couple of months, that's a pretty good collection, right? Like, that's a pretty good start. So a couple of things. I think we're gonna go ahead and take out this Winged Tyranid Prime. I don't think it's doing too much for us, right? 85. So it seems like you've built up your collection to the point where you're like, okay, I have 2,000 points, and now I can start going to tournaments, and now I can start getting better. So I'm not going to say, like, everything is terrible, you know, change all of this out, because it's not terrible. And I also don't think that's helpful to somebody who is just getting into the hobby. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight a couple of units that I probably would change out later on the road. And then I'm going to highlight a couple of units that I think you would be really, really happy to have, right? So the first thing, the Hive Tyrant, like a walking Hive Tyrant, is very, very, very strong and Invasion Fleet. And I think that that would probably be one of my first purchases if I were you. Do we have a Biovore? Okay, just kidding. My first purchase would be a Biovore. I know it's a very boring unit to spend, like, what, $65 on? That sounds miserable, right? It's 50 points, and you're going to be spending like $65 on, or, you know, depending on where you're at, maybe even more than that. So we're going to bring this down to 35 points. We're going to immediately add a Biovore. Biovore is just like, it's one of the best. It's one of the best units in the game. I will say it. I genuinely think a Biovore is one of the best units in the game. And I think every Tyranid list has got to have it. So that's going to be first thing that I would absolutely recommend getting. Biovore and then a Hive Tyrant would be very good. Then you can kind of go a different way, a couple different ways. If you like the big monsters, and it seems like double Norn, I would go like Tyranifexes are probably one of the best boxes for us to buy in terms of the value of the unit, also the value of the dollar. You can get them, I think, for like $55 or something, depending where you're getting them, and then they're 200 points. And it's not like a, you know, you're not like cheesing the point total where it's like, oh, if you put this gun on it or whatever, then it's, I guess that's not in this edition anymore. But like, they're really good. The acid spray is good. The rupture cannon is really good. If you want to get a whole bunch of Termagants and have a party, Tervagon is cool as well, although it's not very great right now. But yeah, so I would do this. Biovore, Hive Tyrant, a couple of Tyranifexes, and then like Gene Stealers, and Broodlord. And then honestly, like, that's going to help you get a pretty round collection. Okay. And one unit you will notice that I have not mentioned is lictors. And instead of immediately going out and buying 3 lictors and spending, what, $180 on 180 points? Or something like that. They're almost a point per dollar. Or a dollar per point when list building. Go ahead, buy yourself some 50mm bases. Okay? Take these Von Ryans. Stick them on those bases. Even with some sticky tack. And as long as you're playing with cool people, always play with cool people, folks. Tell them these Von Ryans are actually lictors. And if they're cool, they're going to go, yeah, they look like lictors to me. Then there you go. You have lictors until, I don't know, maybe if you have like a birthday or something, ask for a lictor. Just use Von Ryans as a proxy for lictors, okay? So get 50mm bases. You can get them on eBay. You might be able to get them on Amazon too. And then I know Etsy sells a whole bunch of them. Okay, so that's what I would do. And once you do that, honestly, you could get, if you got Biovore and 50mm bases as your first purchase, and then just kind of went with that, I think that would be pretty good. So things that are not amazing right now, I think the 2 Neurogaunt squads, I don't think they're really adding too much to your army, right? So I would probably take a look at them and kind of shift them around. And then Barbgaunts are okay, right? I would way rather have Barbgaunts than Termagants. I don't think the 2 10-man Termagants are really adding too much to your army. So my immediate cuts is I would probably, like if we cut Von Ryans, we had 140 points. And then we cut Neurogaunt, which is another 90 points, 230 points. Boom. Okay, so if you do that, all right, then you can afford Gene Stealers immediately. So those would be my first cuts. But of course, you want to do Biovore. Let's say we did Biovore as our first purchase and then traded out those lictors. So oh, we already did it. Okay. So if we're doing, let's say we do 2 lictors. So it's going to be 120. So we have 110 points left over. Mostly we're going to do 2 lictors because the Neurolictor is there. And I'm tempted to like try out a 2 lictor, 1 Neurolictor split in my Vanguard Onslaught list. And it might work pretty well here. So we got 110 points. After we do that, then I think we really want to gear up to have some anti-tank. So at this point, it is kind of up to you. Do you want to go with the Hive Tyrant, right? Or do you want to go with the Tyrannifex? I think either of them are great. In my opinion, if I was building my collection after I got my first Norn, I might hold off a little bit on the second Norn just because, one, it's so expensive, price-wise and point-wise. And you could, like, I don't know, maybe get close to 2 Tyrannifexes for the price of 1 Norn. Who knows, right? But yeah, I think that's kind of the direction that I would take. And then just trying to fill out your collection a little bit more. I love the 1 squad of Gargoyles. These Termagants changing to Hormagaunts, I think would vastly improve everything as well. But who is this again? 40K Christian. Welcome to the hobby, man. I'm glad you found the channel, and I'm glad that you are you're enjoying the game, you know. And I hope that RTT went well. Maybe we learned some stuff. Maybe we you know, just pile drived everybody with our 22 Neurogons. Could have happened, you know. But awesome. Thank you for submitting the list, and I'd be happy to hear how it went. Okay, we've got 1, 2 more lists, and then I'm gonna grab lists. Prof Shin says, will this be the spot for reviews from non-nid lists as well? I'll be honest with you, because of this channel and of course Hive Mind Hobbies as well, I basically just play Tyranids at this point. I play maybe some Orcs and some Blood Angels, but I wouldn't be, like, I will take a look at any list that is submitted. Whether or not I have the knowledge to actually give you, like, good critiques, that is another thing. But I would be more than happy to take a look at something. I don't know. If you send in like orcs or blood angels, I would definitely know stuff. Maybe Eldar a little bit too. But I definitely, Tyranids is my wheelhouse. Anyways, let's see. Let's go here. Boom. Post from Wednesday Night Warhammer. Let's see if anybody has posted. William did. Awesome. Very cool. Oh, and Ozlith. So it looks like Ozlith, Jaldrin, and William. I'm going to be reviewing your guys' list after this one. Yes. Cool stuff. Okay. Moving over to scene. You guys have been great, by the way. This has been a very chill stream. And after that, I am also going to be creating a super cool Battle Shock list that will be on stream tomorrow night versus some Thousand Suns. So you should check it out. Here's Chris Busby. And his notes is just sub. It's Tyranids. It's Subterranean Assault. Okay, sweet. In our characters, we've got 2 Hyper Adaptives. We got 1 Neuro Tyrant, 1 Trigon, 1 Winged Hive Tyrant. Now, this is interesting. Some people I have seen do the Winged Hive Tyrant instead of the Swarm Lord. Either way, I personally lean more towards Swarm Lord because I think the availability of teleporting a Vect Aura just directly in the center of your opponent's army is pretty disgusting, right? Like, that's pretty good, I would say. But the Winged Hive Tyrant is also it's a pretty good beat stick when you give it reroll 1s, right? Because then that means it's rerolling all of its hits. Let's take a look at the rest of the list. We've got Gargoyles. We've got Biovore. Sheesh. We've got the 6-man Hive Guard Shock Cannon. Seems pretty good. We got a Lictor. 2 Raveners. 1 Tyrannofex. 1 Tyrannofex. And Zoanthropes. Man. Okay, so this list is just like punching. Oh. Guys, he did the thing. He left Fleshborer Hive on his Tyrannofex. I'm sure he meant to do that. I'm sure he meant to leave Fleshborer Hive, right? No, these are probably Rupture Cannons. So I think this is... I think double Tyrannofex and Zoanthropes and Hive Guard might be a little bit too much. I think you might want to have a couple of extra melee punches. So here's what I would do. I think we cut 1 Fleshborer Hive Tyrannofex. And we also cut... There's one more thing that I think we also cut the 2nd Hyperdaptives, right? So then we're going to have 365. Ooh, oh man, we have 3,000 points. And then one more thing we're also going to want to do is we're going to add at least 1 Lictor. You want to have some kind of forward pressure to allow for your opponent to not be allowed to move about the cabin willy-nilly. Then we got 305 points. And now we want just 1 or 2 units that maybe can be brought together to just be sent as a package towards your opponent. And you're like, here you go. What do you do? So there's a couple options you could do with this. I like a Cyclophage and a Harspex seems pretty good. A Maliceptor and a Harspex also seems pretty strong as well. As long as you have it planned out and you know what they're going to do, I think either of those is going to be pretty good. So let's say, I don't think this list has a whole lot of just staying power. So let's say we're going to do the Maliceptor. This is one of Dylan's favorite units ever, if he's still listening. And then let's say, man, we got 145 points. Let's do... What do we want? Do we want Harspex or do we want Screamer Killer? I'm thinking Harspex, we would have 20 more points. Can we do anything with that? Oh, 20 more points we could... Oh, I was thinking of the other list. 20 more points, we could do Tremor Sense. That's actually kind of good. All right, so I will put a Horospex in. Yeah, I think this is sweet. And with those last 20 points, then Neurotyrant, Tremor Sense. Tremor Senses. And then you get the redeploy. I don't think you always need the redeploy, but I think it is useful. If you have 20 extra points like we had in that scenario, use it. Reviewing the list, we have one squad of Hyperdaptives right now. And I think that's fine, too, because like you want to have enough regular Raveners to come in and like help for the Hyperdaptives come in and everything. But the Hyperdaptives honestly function more like another Trigon in this than I feel like they function as Raveners, with the added threat of the free rapid ingress and heroic intervention, etc., etc. But anyways, but I don't think you need two of them. Like, you don't need to pair with the Raveners, because your Raveners and Subterranean Assault are playing a much different game than any other detachment, because you kind of have to baby them. Like, these Raveners have to just be very, very protected. So maybe you join one Ravener squad without Hyperdaptives, and then they jump through tunnel with the other Raveners. Who knows? But I think one Hyperdaptives is correct, or 0. Narrow Tyrant with Tremor Senses for the redeploy. Trigon Prime. Winged Hive Tyrant for some melee punch and CP management. Biovore. Horospex for melee pressure. Hive Guard to tell Knights to get the heck out of the way. Double Lictor. 1 Maleceptor for some center of the battlefield holding and extra power and stuff. Double Raveners. 1 Tyranifex with the Rupture Cannon. And then last but not least, Zoanthropes. Cool stuff. I would time... So I think, honestly, the Hive Guard and the Zoanthropes might be awkward having both of them. Because the Hive Guard getting reroll ones to hit and the... Oh, I'm sorry, that's not what I'm trying to say. Hive Guard getting the sustain hits and ignore cover strat kind of competes with the Zoanthropes getting that, because I feel like the Zoanthropes actually really want that stratagem. So make sure you're timing when you are going with the Zoanthropes, and then make sure you're timing when you're going with the Hive Guard, because I feel like both of them kind of want that stratagem, you know, so you're going to have to pick and choose. And this is our last list before our very brief intermission, before I review 3 more lists from 3 more beautiful people. This list is brought to us by Sitdown Surfer. I like that channel name. I like that name. I'm not really sure why I like it. I think it's cool, though. Sitdown Surfer says, "Hey, Jordan. I've been playing since just before the start of 10th. Got back into the hobby after collecting models when I was a kid. 4th, 5th edition. That's me too, kind of. Except not 10th edition. Since I started in like middle of 9th, believe it or not. Been steadily growing my Nid force. The pile of shame is always getting bigger." Hey, that's a pile of potential right there, I'd say. Loving the new Subterranean detachment, and here's my list for it. Got a good range of everything. So happy to adapt it as you see fit. Played 2 games with it so far and won both against Orcs and Grey Knights. Man, Grey Knights, that's almost like a... also, I did see that. Yep, I said you, Jaldrin, and William, I believe, are getting it. That matchup seems pretty interesting. Grey Knights versus Subterranean Assault. Almost doing kind of the same thing. He says, "Thanks." And the list title is Burrower Boys. Chat, can you say that? Can you say Burrower Boys? That's tough for me. And typing it doesn't count as saying it. Hyper-adapted Raveners. Narrow Tyrant with Tremor Sense. Swarm Lord. Heck yeah. Trigon with Trigon Prime. And then in our battle line, we have Gargoyles, Hormagaunts, Biovore Horospex. Oh, I was about to say, this looks almost exactly like the list that we were just talking about. But a little bit of a change. Oh, it's been freezing up on you. Oh, I'm sorry. Has anyone else been having some trouble with the stream? No worries, man. I got you. Horospex, Lictor, Maleceptor, a Moloch, Psychophage, Raveners, Screamer Killer, and then Tyranifex with an Acid Spray. I actually think the Tyranifex with the Acid Spray is kind of spicy in Subterranean Assault. Like, you can have it pop up in a corner, right? it flames something, and then on your opponent's turn, you're also like, I'm gonna overwatch you, and then you can overwatch him again. Seems actually like a pretty strong include if you have the points. Now, there's only a couple things that I don't think I love, right? Also, this Moloch is minus 10 points. So, which I don't think really matters too much. No, I think I like this. I think I definitely prefer the second squad of Raveners way over the first Moloch. Noticeable if any delays or interruptions. So does that mean yes, there has been delays or interruptions, or there hasn't been? Did you mean not noticeable? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Christopher. All right, sweet. Yeah, guys, if you ever just let me know if anything's buffering or anything, and I'll do my best to fix it. It seemed good on my side. I'm sorry you missed out on some stuff, Ozolith. Okay, so I definitely want the second Ravener squad over the first Moloch. I think the Moloch is cool. I think it's fun, right? You want to deal mortals and stuff, but I don't think it's necessarily where we want to be. But I mean, it is fun. So what I would probably do is like trade this Moloch out, right? And then get a second squad of Raveners. This list is actually awesome. I actually really like this list. And that's going to give us 20 points left over, and then we just trade these Hormagaunts out for Gargoyles. I think Hormagaunts are fine. I actually think they're pretty good in Subterranean Assault. The reroll ones to hit is really kind of neat for them. But having two Raveners is pretty nice. And the reason why I like this list so much is because you can tell that there's like different packages that these Subterranean Assault units are going to go in. When I play Subterranean Assault, I always like sending two monsters at once with a 6-inch charge. So like if I do, for instance, if I want a Tyranifex and a Screamer Killer. So like the Tyranifex comes in, is going to flame a screen, and then the Screamer Killer gets to charge something behind it. That seems like a really cool combo. Or like the Psychophage with the Screamer Killer, or the Psychophage with the Horuspex. This is pretty good. This is a really good list. Sitdown Surfer, nicely done. I think you win list of the week right here. I definitely like this because it's just almost like MSU monsters, and you have like a bunch of toolbox items that you can like just shift around with. Yeah, man, cool stuff. Yeah, this is really neat. There's not a whole lot of shooting in the list. Doesn't always have to be. I do think that it might struggle into anti-tank, but Raveners and Hyper Adapted would definitely help with that. Okay. So, we're going to take a very, very brief intermission while I grab those last three lists. Thank you, everybody, for the support. Thank you specifically, William, for your great super chats. And thank you, Ozolith and Jaldrin, for being members and supporting the channel in that way. I'm going to grab those lists very quickly, and then we're going to look at those lists. And then after that, if we still have time, I'm then going to create a very cool Battle Shock themed Synaptic Nexus list that I'm excited to play tomorrow night. We will be right back. While I'm gone, please tell me what your favorite type of taco is in chat. here. Our first list that we're going over is William Dickey. Thank you again so much for supporting the channel, man. A couple of super chats, a couple of almost members, but being on iOS prevented it. I didn't even realize that, but I really appreciate it. And I didn't even know what he submitted, but I'm super excited to talk about this. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about, either like a league or just starting out. What's up, Trenton? Good to see you. So William, he says, entering a new 1,000 point league soon, and I'm debating on this list. I've still only got limited models, but I'm willing to pick some stuff up. I currently am wondering if I should cut the 5-man Gene Stealer and Broodlord Brick for a Hive Tyrant of the walking, melee, or shooting variety. I don't currently have a Tyrant, but could be convinced. Oh, and it's Vanguard Onslaught? Man, what a legend. Okay. So, we have Death Leaper, Broodlord, Chameleonic, Hunting Grounds, and Stalker. So, it depends where the points lie, but honestly, especially with Vanguard Onslaught, I'm tempted to just say, yeah, the taco to get to eat, yeah. Any taco that's put in front of me is probably pretty good. I would probably say dropping the enhancements and just putting those points elsewhere could be good. Yeah, and there is also the rule of 2 for 1,000 points, so we'll look at that as well. So 2 10-mans and a 5-man. Gene Stealer, 1 Lictor, 1 Psychophage. Okay, cool. So I would think that we are probably... So first we're going to drop the enhancements, right? So that's going to be 30... That's going to be 45 points. And I did do a video recently going from 500 points to 1,000 points, or 500 points to 2,000 points. And Vanguard Onslaught on Hive Mind Hobbies, if you haven't checked it out. There's a couple of things that I like about this. One of the things that I thought was very, very important was Raveners, especially at the small point total. I think Raveners are also pretty strong. And if we get rid of Gene Stealers plus a Broodlord, that's going to be another 155 points. So we're just flat on the dot, 200 points. Now, it's 290 points for... Okay, so one of these guys is gone. I think Psychophage is an interesting pick. However, to start... Yeah, it is a very recent change. So no, like, really no fault on your end. It's kind of like... I don't know. But it kind of makes sense. Like, if you're at 1,000 points and somebody just puts, like, 3 Norns down, that's kind of shit, right? Okay, and then I would honestly cut the Psychophage at this point and then get... Excuse me. I would get Raveners and then hyper-adapted Raveners. And then you have 25 points left to go, and then you can just put 20 points like you can do Neuronode on the... or Hunting Grounds might actually be better. So put Hunting Grounds on maybe the Hyperdaptive? No. Yeah, probably the Broodlord. Because it's going to be on the field. That's kind of what I would do for a 1,000 point league to start with Vanguard Onslaught. Let's see, what else? Maybe there's a chance that you split one of the genes. No, because it's rule of 3, rule of 2. If you did like 1 5-man Gene Stealers and then got like a Neurolictor too. But I honestly like the 2 10-man Gene Stealers. I think they're actually kind of hard to deal with, especially at 1,000 points. I definitely think that Raveners at 1,000 points is very good because you either have 2 units that can kind of do MSU trading, or you have 1 big unit that can handle any like giant tank that gets sent your way. And I do feel like 1,000 points has the potential for people to bring some swingy stuff and just be like, I don't know, here's a norm. Can you deal with it? And if the answer is no, then I don't know, maybe you lose. But I'm excited and jealous of your 1,000 point league. I think that's a great way to, get some hobbying done, grow your collection, meet some new people, and, really dive into the game even further. So, escalation leagues. Oh, it's not an escalations league. It's just a 1K league. Oh, if it's a 1K league, then yeah, this is probably what I would play. Yeah, I think so. You don't have any shooting, but you have quite a bit of punch and some shenanigans to play with lictors. Yeah, you can only bring a single Titanic unit in 1,000 points too. Interesting. Yeah, Jaldrin is he's a 1,000 point connoisseur. Oh, if you can't find Raveners. William, do you have Tyranid Warriors? I actually think Tyranid Warriors hit pretty hard as well. And then you would have 80 points left over, or 85 rather. Then you can you could slot in Gargoyles. Also might be good if you have Raveners and the Winged Tyranid Prime. So you could do that and then Gargoyles. Another thing that might be kind of good is maybe you shift a little bit into shooting. Like double Exocrine doesn't seem terrible as well. A Flyrant is pretty good as well. There's a whole bunch of options. While we wrap this up, if you just kind of piecemeal stuff that you have, and I'll let you know maybe if that's a good swap or something. I think Raveners, like, this is 2 boxes of Raveners, which might be kind of tough to find depending on where you are. I think they're pretty strong, but there are other options. All right. Speaking of Jaldrin, his list. Thank you for being a member, Jaldrin. We really appreciate it. He says, got a list here for you, wanting to run something like this. Thoughts, question mark, not got much in the way of small Griblies. And it's a 2K list. Awesome. Very cool, Jaldrin. Invasion Fleet. Nice. We've got double Broodlord, Hyper Adaptives. Whew. Oh, then I guess I skipped the Death Leaper Swarmlord. Oh, man. We're punching here, aren't we? Yeah, it's no battle line. That's okay. Biovore, Genestealer, Lictor, Neurolictor now with the 70 points. Excellent. 1 Ravener, double Exocrine, Maleceptor, Norn Emissary. All right. Let me see if I can try and picture this. That's so much stuff. What in the world? That's a lot of stuff, isn't it? Okay, so the thing that I would be worried about, right, is you do have a lot of really good units. I think they're quite strong. All of these units are good. I do like stuff too. But I'm just worried, like, what happens if your opponent charges you first, right? I mean, this is strong. Like, double Genestealer or Hyper Adaptive Raveners can just get people. I would probably be tempted to drop the Genestealers for... Man, you've got a Maleceptor and Norn Emissary. I'm just kind of astounded that you fit this much stuff in. I guess it's because you don't have the Neurotyrant and you don't have any Gargoyles or Hormigons. So I think here's what I'm gonna say. I think you should play this list a couple of times, and then see where it goes. I definitely think the meta right now is much more leaning into the punchy and killy than it is like playing a whole bunch of secondary and like shenanigans like that. But you also still have it, like with the Neurolictor, Lictor, and Death Leaper. See, you do have quite a bit of units to just go out and do actions and be annoying. I would be interested to see if you could maybe fit 1 squad or 2. I would fit 2 squads of Hormigons or Gargoyles. But yeah, this is sweet. Maybe change the Swarmlord to a Walking Hive Tyrant too. I mean, I guess you don't have too much shooting. No, I think I actually do like Swarmlord here because he's going to be, I would bet he's probably going to be positioned behind one of the Genestealer squads. So if anybody wants to come into the Genestealers, then they have to pay an extra CP to do anything to them, right? And then he can come out and assist. Okay, so I'm not going to make like any quote-unquote changes to it because I think it is a very spicy, very cool list. What I would think you might end up leaning to is, oh, what if you cut... Oh, it's funny, like cutting the Gene Stealers down to 5s doesn't save you as much anymore. If you cut the Gene Stealers down to 1 Gene Stealer brick as a 5-man... All right, see you, True Soul. Thanks for hanging out with us. Then you could fit like a squad of Hormigons, which in my opinion, would actually be kind of cool. But my hypothesis, my prediction would be that maybe the 20 Gene Stealers and the Hyperdaptives maybe is too much in the way of melee pressure, and maybe you end up wanting to switch to a couple of Gribbly guys. But yeah, sweet stuff, man. Very cool. Please let us know how it ends up doing in the Discord. I'd love to know how it works. All right. Last but not least, we have Ozolith. And I accidentally cut out part of his comment. Of course, yeah. Thank you, Jaldrin, for your support. He says, this is my most recent list. Got to try it against Chaos Knights and tabled him at the start of round 4. Wanted to know your opinion on it. Well, I mean, if it's tabling Chaos Knights at the start of round 4, it sounds like it's probably doing a pretty good job. We have Death Leaper, Swarmlord, Neurotyrant with Tremor Sense. Cool. Trigon with Trigon Prime. Double Gargoyles. See, I'm liking this. This is some good stuff. Biovore. Hiveguard. Hiveguard is great. A Lictor. 11 Neurogons. I even purchased Neurogons. So I'm going to try and use them to screen out the other side of my backfield alongside with my Biovore. And I think they might be good in Subterranean Assault too if you have extra points, just to send them out first. Like if you line up your Neurogons, right, and then if you go first, just advance your Neurogons, have them push all the way up the field as far as possible if they can, and then just tell your opponent, please don't come close to me for a turn while my Raveners set up with my Zoanthropes and Norn Emissary and Tyrannifex. Yeah, this does seem sweet. I would be interested to see if we could fit a couple of more melee pressure units. This is 200, 460, 660, 8, 950, 1000, 1060. Okay, yeah, most of the points. I was like, this seems kind of small. Most of the points are in the characters. And maybe we also want an extra Lictor. I know the Death Leaper probably kind of takes the place of it, but... So probably the one thing that I would maybe think about changing is taking out Tremor Senses and switching out this Neurogaunt for a second Lictor. Because I really do think the sweet spot is 2 Lictors and then Death Leapers like the cherry on top. The reason why I still like 2 Lictors is because sometimes I like to play my Death Leaper a little bit aggressively. And also his base is ginormous, so it is harder for him to fit places. And a Lictor kind of just sits in a pocket. But that's really like the only kind of notes that I would have. I think the game plan of it sounds pretty good. It's definitely leaning more on the shooting side than I typically like to do for Subterranean Assault, but that does not mean it is bad. And obviously, since you are tabling arguably one of... it's a pretty good army right now. That seems pretty good. That seems not bad. Sweet. Okay. Thank you again, everybody, for the support. Really appreciate it. We have one more thing we are going to be doing today. We are going to be creating a Synaptic Nexus Battle Shock Palooza. Palooza list that I'll be running tomorrow. And here's the kind of the core of the list. Get out of here, advertisement. Oh, wait. Hold up. Give me a second. Get out of here. Oh, wait. No. Oh. Okay. Anyways, I don't care if you guys see my tabs. He had 6 big knights and 1 small knight. Yeah, good job. That's awesome. Chris says, I think for the next review, I'm going to get my son's dream list out there. I want to hear your thoughts on it for sure. Yeah, I would love to take a look at it. That sounds awesome. Okay, so for this list, I'm thinking definitely we have Death Leaper for Battle Shock stuff. I'm going to see if we can fit 2 hyper adaptives in, although I am hesitant. Might not happen. Definitely a Neuro Tyrant. Hormagaunts I really do like, and Synaptic Nexus. I'm kind of just putting stuff out there. 2 Neurolictors. I'm seeing if we're going to have the ability for it. I want to do the Wombo combo where you do Screamer Killers, shooting at something, Neurolictor, you know, says, oop, you Battle Shock, now everything gets to hit so much better, and it'll be very cool. And we also need 2 Raveners. So the scheme, the reason why I want to do hyper adaptives and everything and Raveners is because I think they actually carry the buffs very, very well. In Synaptic Nexus, you're thinking +1 to hit and melee, 5 up invulnerable save. Raveners suffer from not having an invulnerable save. Seems pretty good. So let's take a look at the list. Neurotyrant. Let's make the Neurotyrant Warlord. Oh, that's interesting that they have that. That's cool. Oh, I haven't chosen a detachment. My bad. My bad, folks. We are Synaptic Nexus. Baba Booey. Cool. Now we can go here for enhancements. We're going to do Power of the Hive Mind. And let's go ahead and get some Zoanthropes in here. Is there anything that chat wants to see? We have 435 points. Probably also want a Hive Tyrant. The Hive Tyrant is going to have Synaptic Control. Hive Tyrant's going to just help with Zoanthropes getting around. We have 240 points. I did kind of want to throw a Norn in there. Synaptic Battle Shock. Maybe we cut down on the Raveners. Maybe we just do 1 Ravener brick. And if we did Norn, everybody likes a Norn emissary, right? And then we have 270 points. Oh! Do we do double Norns? Is that even a question? Double Norns. And then is Dirge Heart 10? Why is Dirge Heart 15 points? I don't know about that, folks. Did I cut Death Leaper? All right, so if we keep the list as it is, we have Death Leaper, Hive Tyrant, Hyper Adaptive Raveners. Can the Hive Tyrant have Synaptic Control? It's 20 points. We're 5 points off. You gotta be kidding me. Biovores, Neurolictor, Raveners, Zoanthropes, Norn Emissary, Screamer Killer, Screamer Killer. I think that's pretty fun. We're 10 points off. How much is Parasite? Okay, Parasite is 80 points, and you give us 10 points off on a Moloch? Oh my gosh. My aching tentacles, everybody. How many points is Power of the Hive Mind? It's 10 points. That is crazy. In my opinion, Power of the Hive Mind is probably one of the best enhancements here. Maybe not. All right, I think this is how we play it. Or, we get rid of Death Leaper. I know. We get a 3rd Neurolictor. Boom. And then we give the Hive Tyrant Synaptic Control. Boom. Well, I will play this very spicy list tomorrow, folks. Same place right here, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday Night Warhammer. Thank you again for all the support. I will see you then. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.